Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
So check it out. The D6 Squad has merch now. We got hoodies, tees, mugs, whatever you need. Check it out. Link in the description. What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. And this is pretty much going to be a video where we just look at what's going on with this salary cap, because the whole point of me making this is just to figure out how we could possibly sign Kenny Golladay to a long-term deal, or even do a short-term deal. It'd probably be better for a long-term deal for everyone. But this is how we could possibly sign Kenny Golladay. And I'm going to look straight into this. I'm guessing if we sign someone like Kenny Golladay, his average is going to be somewhere between about 17 to 19 million a year. And you don't want to be in a position where you're paying him something crazy like 30 million a year. So I doubt you go down a whole 10 million. So I'm guessing he's going to need about 12 to 13 million dollars in cap space for 2021 for this to work out at all. So Leonard Williams is probably the biggest domino. He's the biggest domino because if we can get Leonard Williams' deal, this 19 million a year average, down to a 13 because we extend him, and you know that cap number goes up, that's clearing what, 6 million in cap space. The same thing with Bradbury. I don't know if the Giants are going to approach him to restructure. I don't know if he will want to restructure because it's so early in his deal. But just for the sake of the video and just because we need to make some moves to get Kenny Golladay or pick up that, that tackle, because the Chiefs just cut 2 tackles. The move we would have to make in this situation, I'm thinking at least shave off 2 to 3 million just for this year's cap. I mean, the cap is so low this year, you got to ask players to be flexible. If they want to build this team and make this team better, they're probably going to want to cooperate. They're going to get their money next year. Next year, we're projected to have a lot more cap space. So we can push some of that money back. So I'm going to make this 14 instead of 17. You guys can criticize how realistic this is, but this is just the hypothetical situation of a Kenny Golladay coming to this team. And this is something I think might be the most realistic. Nate Solder's cap hit is 16.5 million. If we cut him, we save 6 million. But we've said to have, restructured. So if we're restructuring, something I'm thinking we probably do is maybe because we're so open to restructuring and he wants to come back to this team, maybe he gives us a hometown discount. And instead of the 10 million that we would say, the 10 million that we'd be paying him not to play, I think he'll give us 1 extra million off, and we'll take that to, that's at 900,000 there. Take it to 9 million. Okay. So right here, this gets us to 12 million overall and 15 million, around 15 million for the top 51 after you cut all the back end roster players. Mind you, we also are probably going to have to get some sort of a starting offensive lineman, or at least depth. We also need depth in the secondary at corner. We also need depth at linebacker. So that's also something to think of. I'm thinking we're going to need about $8 to $9 million for that. When you look at who else is there, we're not extending Saquon Barkley. We've got him for $10 million this year, $7 million next year when we pick up his option, which is a no-brainer. Blake Martinez, I doubt will restructure at this point. But Sterling Shepard. I think I saw an article where we could move around his guaranteed money and pretty much pay him, what he actually gets as far as money-wise, give him pretty much the same amount, but take that cap hit down by $2 million. So this puts us at around 17 million. So what did I say? I said that we needed about 13 to 14 to be able to justify Golladay coming here and, not getting paid the full amount, the full average amount, but getting paid something respectable so we don't have to pay him $35 million 1 year because we pushed so much of it back. Logan Ryan isn't a restructure guy. So for Evan Ingram right here, you're probably going to have to do a trade. If you want to bring in Kenny Golladay, if you want to bring in a number 1 receiver through free agency, you're going to have to get rid of a guy who is not productive, who is a pass catcher. How many people would trade Evan Ingram right now for Kenny Golladay? I would. So let's look. The Arizona Cardinals they're the first team on the list, and they're one of the teams that I think that we will consider trading with. Another one is the Patriots. Either one works. I don't know. We're not getting any players out of it, but just add any player. Trenton Brown. There you go. So we make that trade, get that $6 million off the books. So now we're at $23 million. So now it looks somewhat realistic. We can make that $13 million commitment to Kenny Golladay year one, and also have $10 million left over. So let's look at what else we can do. Riley Dixon, I think at this point is going to be cut. So you save that money, get an extra $2 million. Spencer Pulley is of course going to be cut. Now look at what else we have. Graham Gano, he's safe. He might be considered for a restructure, but I'm going to leave that as it is right now. You don't want to push everybody's money back. That's just not realistic. When you look at guys like Ryan Lewis, I think you keep one or the other, Ryan Lewis and Isaac Yadom. I'm going to say Isaac Yadom played much more. He's younger. Ryan Lewis played well as well, but we're probably going to be bringing in a young cornerback in this draft that's probably going to take one of their spots. So Ryan Lewis is probably going to be cut. Lemieux is, of course, going to be safe. Let's look at what else we got. Joe Webb, that's fine. These are all the back end of the roster kind of guys, the guys who aren't getting paid much. Lalos, these are training camp style cuts. But I think right now we're safely in a position where we could consider spending 13 of if you add on, what's going on as far as, okay, if you include just the top 51 guys, I think that's not an extra $3 million, it's an extra $6 million. So that puts us at around 30 million, because we were negative $3 million on Spot Rack, including our entire roster. We were negative $3 million to start, and with just the top 51, we're positive $3 million. So add on that extra $6 million, we're at $30 million in cap space right now. After we make all of the cuts at the end of training camp and get rid of all of these guys who have no guaranteed money, we're starting to go into that final 55-man roster. I'm pretty sure it is now. We should be good. Guys like Dante Pettis are going to be back, BJ Hill. So it's really not much more you need to do. Maybe, Nate Solder coming back is something that really would help us as far as the cap if he takes that $1 million extra off. If not, then we lose out on $1 million, which isn't the end of the world. All of the rest of these guys, I can't see restructuring. We're not going to push back, like just with Leonard Williams right here, we're pushing him back. Depending on what his average salary, say we get him on a discount, say it's $18 a year. So we're pushing back $6 million for Leonard Williams, and we're pushing back about $6 million for the Golladay signing. So let's just so we can all see this, let's go and look at it. Let's type in Golladay. Let's find Golladay and get him on the Giants. Let's see. Detroit Lions. Give me Kenny Golladay. All right. So you sign Kenny Golladay, 17 mil. I guess his cap hit for this year will be 13 mil, but since we did such a good job clearing out cap space, we could go 15 mil. So that way you're only pushing back 3 mil and then 6 mil. So you're pushing back 9 mil into next year that you're going to have to pay a Leonard Williams and Kenny Golladay, and then you got to push back another 3 mil. So you're pushing back 12 mil into next year and then Sterling Shepard, I'm pretty sure I adjusted. So let's see. So all around you're pushing around about 14 to 15 mil in the next year's cap that you're going to have to pay down the road. And we also have $9 million in cap space left. Add the 6 after you make all of these bottom of the roster cuts. Once you add that extra 6, we're in pretty good position. That gives us enough money to sign our top draft picks, and that gives us enough money to go out and get a guy like, let's see who else we can find. Get a guy like Matt Fielder from the Steelers. Let's see. Matt Fielder, Pittsburgh. Get a guy like Matt Fielder. Okay. So sign him. And then get Matt Fielder for $6 million. All right. So after we make all of these moves, once you add the $6 million, we got $9 million left going into the draft, and that gives us enough money to be able to play around with as the season goes along. So let's go ahead and publish this roster to see what they say. They don't have the top 51 thing here, but these are the moves that I made. I changed Leonard Williams' cap hit from 19.35 to 13.35. And this is including the fact that we would get a long-term deal figured out with him before free agency, which is a long shot. That's the biggest thing for this entire thing to work out. This deal has to be done ASAP. You got to figure out the deal, man. Like, we cannot push this back. It has to be done within the next week and a half. So get that deal done. We saved $6 million this year. Get the Bradbury cap hit changed. Save a $3 million. I structured Nate Solder, got him to take that pay cut. Went from 16.5 to 9 million. I don't know how the NFLPA will feel about that, but if we cut him, we would be saving $6 million. And since we're doing him the favor of not just cutting him, and he wants to be back, and the Giants want him back, he may take that hometown discount. He may not want to move his family again, and we pay him $9 million. So that's saving $7.5 million, which is another huge cut. But I mean, if we just cut him, we saved the 6. So 1.5 isn't that much of a difference. The Sterling Shepard thing is, again, I read an article that said we could kind of move guaranteed and signing bonuses around, which would save us another $2 million. Evan Ingram, we had to get rid of him because he's 6.5 on the cap, and we ended up saving $6 million by trading him. We will probably get draft picks here instead of Trenton Brown. I just picked Trenton Brown because, for cap purposes. But we would probably get, a 4th round draft pick for him, which is fine for me. We had to get rid of Riley Dixon, who, kind of regret that, but we're going to have to just find another punter. Shouldn't be the worst thing in the world. We'll find somebody. Release Ryan Lewis. We'll definitely be drafting a corner in the first 4 rounds in this draft. So I'm not worried about Ryan Lewis being replaced. If we got to do that to get rid of Kenny Golladay, I'm fine with it. And then signing Kenny Golladay at an average of around 18 or 19 mil, but paying him 15 mil the first year. Pushing back some of that money so his cap hit next year will probably be somewhere around 24, 25. And then signing Matt Fielder to a $6 million a year average per year deal. That's probably like a 3-year deal kind of thing. Matt Fielder can play guard and tackle, so that kind of solves 2 positions. If for some reason Nate Solder is awful, then you can bench Nate Solder. You can put in Matt Fielder. If not, then Matt Fielder can be your starting right guard day one. So you guys let me know what you think of these scenarios, of these cuts. I know I've been getting a lot of pushback. About Evan Ingram of all people. I've been getting pushback about getting rid of Evan Ingram, but I feel like to get Kenny Golladay, that's one of the moves that we have to make. We have to get the Leonard Williams deal done, and we have to move on from Evan Ingram. It just has to happen that way. But again, you guys let me know what you think of these moves, and is Kenny Golladay worth all the moves that I made? Let me know. So if you made it this deep into the video, I'm calling you a D6 Squad member. If you're a D6 Squad member, you got to hit that subscribe button. You got to turn on that notification bell. And listen, I make all kinds of content for NFL teams. So if you're not a Giants fan, don't worry. I'll cover your team. If I'm not covering your team, let me know. And have a good one.